There's been a break in the rain for a few hours, although it's going to rain at 4 o'clock. What time is it now? It's about 1:30. We're going to get this trim off and we're going to have a look to see what's going on underneath it, and then get the welder out, cut a hole in it, weld a new piece in. Yeah, boy. Let's add it into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, she's only inside the van, ain't too bad.
No, it's just that bit down there again. Oh, it's a little bit there, bubbling up there that I'm looking at now before it gets bad.
It's a lot straighter this side, body wise.
Thing is though, at the edge of the van, it's probably still. That's one thing when you do tyres, you absolutely sweat. So it's best to do tyres when it's freezing cold. It soon bloody warms you out, I'll tell you that. And you get filthy. So I've not got a tyre for this yet, but I need to move the van around the car park. So I'm just going to plug this tyre for now. I know what you're all going to say, it's not going to go back on the road for a bit because I've got my other van to move bikes around. I went back and got it in the end. So I'll plug this just so I can move it around. I will try and film this as much as possible to show you guys how you plug tyres. I don't recommend you do this if you don't know how to do it, because the last thing you want is for it to go down when you're on the motorway or turning the corner. And if you are going to do this, I suggest if it's on the front, you move the tyre from the front to the back, because the last thing you want is a sudden flat on your steering wheel. Not your steering wheel, but on the wheel that's steering. What we're going to need to do this job. One, a T-handle. This is to grind out, what would you call it, big, you know, make the hole bigger. Can't think of the word for it right now. Sandpaper for the inside. Now this is what we call a mushroom, so you'd have to take the tyre off to fit this. This fits up inside the tyre and then you pull it with a pair of pliers and some glue, and that's all we're going to need. Maybe a bit of degreaser as well. We take our T-handle, put some glue on it. The glue also acts as lube. Oh, what a messy bugger. That's what my mum used to tell me anyway. I didn't used to tidy my room. Now you do that, make sure you keep your hand clear, because if you slip, Ash done it once, you can go for your hand. Don't want that. Right, you've got to really open up that hole. You've got to make sure you can pull that mushroom free, otherwise it just snaps if it's not. This takes a little bit of work. Just make sure you use plenty of lube. Where have I heard that before? And now I'm going to find that hole on the inside of the tyre, and I'm going to sand at least that size off, not off, but just rough it up a bit so the actual patch sticks to the actual inside of the tyre. This is my form of degreaser. It's hand sanitizer. It's got alcohol in it and it's really good for degreasing. So just degrease around the hole where you're going to stick the patch. Because when they mould these tyres, they reuse what you call a release agent, which is waxy. And that obviously won't make the patch stick. So now that's done, we're going to peel off both sides of the patch. This can be tricky, this bit. Especially this little clear part there. Try not to damage the sides if you can, all the ends. And then we're going to take the glue and we're going to plaster it. Actually, first we're going to glue inside where the patch is going to sit inside the tyre. Where's the hole gone? Right. So that's that then. And then we're going to take the patch, glue all around the patch. Sorry, you can't see that on camera. But also make sure you glue the stalk, because that would be the lubrication it will need to be pulled through the tyre. And you also need a pair of pliers. Needs to be quite quick now. So we're going to put the actual metal bit through the hole. Once I find it, I'm going to put some more glue on it. It's all about the lube. If you don't lube it up, it won't go in. Sorry. Anyway, take your pliers, the metal bit's hanging out, and then pull it through, like so. Perfect. And then you should end up with something like that. I'll show you the inside. And that's the patch on the inside. I'm going to quickly get some air in it, and the air will push that patch harder onto the tyre. And when the glue sticks, it will stick really well. Check for directional arrows or inside outside. Make sure the tyre's on the right way around. Some tyres don't have inside outside. Some tyres are universal. Right, I know it goes that way. Be quite quick here. I want to be quick to get some air in here. As this comes round, give it a little tug. It's going to go bang. So watch yourself. Come on. Now this will help push against that patch. Is that going on? Watch your fingers in this. A little bit more. Woo! That's the tyre pumped up to 55 psi. I'm going to leave that for 20 minutes, refit it back on the van. But before that, I'm going to cut this little tail off. But I'm going to leave it 20 minutes first. And that is how you patch your tyre. Onwards and upwards. Let's go and do some welding. So we have not been anywhere this weekend. We've not been on any adventures. I've had to get on with stuff at home, do some home DIY, some decorating. So hopefully though, next weekend we're going to get away for one night at least. And I think we'll probably go to Exmouth, possibly, and then show you guys around where we park in Exmouth, and maybe give you a quick tour around Exmouth itself. Yeah, so make sure you check out next Sunday's our Van Vibes, and hopefully we'll see you in Exmouth for the day and the night. See what trouble we can get up to, eh? Ooh! Just 1, 2, 3 more cars. Promise. I wonder who bought me that. How much should I cut out? Might as well just cut all of it out. It's going to be a bit of welding, but at least it'll be done. Do the welding gloves ready. Might have to cut along the bottom edge to get that other half out. Nice when a plan works out. Let's get the hammer out. So that's what we're dealing with. What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to cut this top edge out here, so the whole of this front comes out, and then I can also weld on the inside, because the inside of the van's empty. I've got to clean up all these surfaces, grind it all back to bare metal, and then make up a patch to sit in there flush. It's a good job with quiet work today, so I'm supposed to be working, but because it's winter, obviously with bikes and stuff, it's more seasonal, and this week's been absolutely dead. We've had a few sales, it's a few bits to keep us going, so I thought it's good was we have these flat spots to get on with the van rather than sitting down and wasting time. But it's actually quite nice to do some body work that's not underneath the van for a change, because normally I end up bloody underneath the van with my nose like that to the chassis or the sill, and it's absolutely disgusting job. But I do enjoy welding, but I just don't enjoy welding without a ramp, which unfortunately we haven't got a ramp big enough for these vans to go on. I think that's it. Bit more cutting to do. Should be wearing gloves really, because you don't want to cut your hands on this rusty metal, but I'm being very careful. There you are. Let's have a look, see what it looks like from a distance. Just to stick like a fridge vent in it. Bodge it and scarper. I've got another grinder here with a grinding disc on. Now I need to be very careful. All I want to do is take the paint off. I don't want to take any thickness of metal away from the side of the van. Only because one, it's going to make the metal thinner, and two, when I try to weld it, it's going to burn through. So this is just a light going over to get rid of any paint and contaminants when I start welding. See, now this is one thing with rust. You think it's just a little bit, but it spreads. It's a little bit, it's not a very nice thing to say, but it's a little bit like cancer. Once it sets, it spreads. Apart from, there's no cure at all for rust, other than cut it all out. So I'm gonna have to cut another inch out over here, then I'm back to solid metal. That is finally it. That is all the rest cut out. There's a little bit of scabbiness up here which I've ground back, but that's still really thick. So I'm going to get rid of all the rest. Well, I've got rid of most of it now. I'm going to treat it with some rust treatment. I'm probably going to bring up the paint to here, I'm not sure yet. But first thing first, let's make a patch up for this. Let's get it welded in. Yeah, boy. My favourite part, welding. I'm going to measure how much steel I'm going to need. I'm going to mark it out on this sheet, cut it out and shape it in. I can pinch it on this flange here and then draw a line on the inside so I can get it to fit right into the top of this panel. Because if there's a little tiny bit of a gap, it's going to cause a problem. And that problem is when I go to weld it, it will just burn through. You need to butt the metal up nice and tight to get a good solid weld without it burning through. I'll show you that in a bit. Now we've got the measurement, let's draw it out. Gotta be so careful with sheet steel, it's so sharp. Health and safety first. Get it all lined up. Once I'm happy, I'll draw my line. Pen's not very good. Cool. Only just about that much too long. Sweet. Hate it when it happens. Basically now I've got to make this panel fit tight into the top of that old panel. So what I'm doing is I'm butting it up and I can see little high spots, and I'm just using a pen to mark them spots and then grind it down. I'm going to make it fit as best as I can for the best result in when I come to weld it. Got the panel all made and the angle bent in. That's going to fit in there like that. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, so just need to draw this out now because I need to tack this in behind there so I can weld it on the inside pillar. So I'm going to need about that much. So I need to cut it down there, like so. And then I'm going to need this bit. Right there. Yeah. So we're going to need to cut something like that. Get the old grinder and cut that out. That's my panel all made. Over here, you can see there's seam sealer or sealer. I will weld up here, along down here, drill hose through here and tack weld it. Little spot weld it site along there. And then here I will fill in with maybe some Sikaflex, I reckon. Something really strong. I'll call that a win. Let's get the old welder out, shall we? We're gonna now set up the welder to what we need it. Put all the settings on the right settings. You don't want it too high, because otherwise it'll burn straight through the side panel. Also, we're gonna do lots of little tacks, but quite far apart, because if you get any great heat into these panels, they're gonna warp, and you're gonna end up with a wavy crease down the side of the van. No matter what you do, it's gonna crease anyway, but the hotter you get it, the worse it's gonna crease. Let's see how we can do this. For this, I'm gonna turn the welder to begin with down to 2. And then the wire feed down also to 2. I'm going to show you guys really quickly because it's going to rain. I'll tell you what, it's just nothing but rain lately. It's so frustrating. I've actually laid a few down here, as you can see, but I'll show you of laying a few across. I'm not going to do too much on this because I really need to get this done before it rains. I will show you the complete thing afterwards. So that's that bit stitch ridered in. I'm going to grind this bit back. I've still got that over there to do yet. And just grind it back and see how it looks. Might have to touch it in a bit afterwards and then grind it back again, but we'll make it watertight. I definitely got my money's worth out of that one. That's pretty much the panel stitched in. I've started grinding some of the welds back there. As you can see, I've tried to keep the actual stitch welding to a minimum. The less weld you got on there, the less heat and the easier it is to grind back smooth. This bit here, I went a bit too heavy, but it don't matter as long as it's not burnt any holes in it. It's got a spot weld through here. Job done. Starting to get dark now, so I've put some paint on it just to protect it for now. I'm just going to get some seam sealer and then seam sealer this edge here, stop water getting in, and there. Let's get that done and we'll call it a day. So we have some seam sealer. This is pretty messy stuff. I'm just going to use my fingers to get it worked in to that lower edge. I don't want any water getting in there, otherwise corrosion's just going to set it again. Problem is I'm racing against time now because it's going to rain soon. I want this to dry before it does rain. I'll do that. And it all worked into that. I'm going to leave some photos of our current van, our own van, the one we use for these adventures, of what it looked like before I converted it. So have a look and see what the inside looked like. And also the outside it's not going to be finished really until next year now, because I need to do some painting and stuff and get it tidied up. But we're just not going to have the weather for it. It's going to start getting colder from next week. I believe it's going to go down to 0 degrees, so that's going to be pretty bloody cold, which I'm not looking forward to. But hopefully it won't be raining, because this rain is really getting on my nerves. It's held everything up. It's just ridiculous. Well, I won't keep moaning about it, because I think I've moaned a lot already. So make sure you keep an eye out for our up and coming videos of the van build, and also the up and coming videos of our adventures in our van, our main van. We haven't got a name for the main van yet. I'm not quite sure what to call it. I don't know. Our old van was called Wilf the MILF, because the registration was WLF. So the last owner we got it off said, oh yeah, we call it Wilf, and people before that's called it Wilf, so if you want to call it Wilf, that'd be good. And it just stuck. It actually became like he was a living thing. Like even friends and stuff refer to him as Wilf. But I just can't come up, or we can't come up with an absolute, you know, an actual good name for this van. That's gonna, you know, gonna be the same matches living up to the standards of Wilf. And no, we're not going to call it MILF or GILF. So maybe if you've got some good names, drop them in below and let us know. That'd be good. That's it for this week's van build. Make sure you tune in next Sunday. The release comes out at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. every Sunday for the van build and our Van Vibes adventures. Make sure you like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.